Here again, JustProfessor. A completely false story gets shared once, then it gets shared again, and again, and suddenly everyone believes it's true, not because there's any evidence, but just because they kept hearing it. Your brain is being hijacked by repetition, and it's making you believe things that never happened. Think about how many times you've heard something repeated so often that you just accepted it as fact without ever checking if it was real. Maybe it's a story about a company doing something terrible. Maybe it's a claim about a food being dangerous. Maybe it's a rumor about a celebrity. You didn't see proof. You didn't verify anything. But you heard it 10 times from different people. So your brain decided it must be true. This is an availability cascade, when repeated exposure to an idea makes it feel true regardless of whether it actually is. And it's one of the most powerful ways false information spreads. An availability cascade happens when a claim or story gets repeated over and over in public discussion until it becomes accepted as truth through sheer repetition. It starts with someone making a claim. Could be true, could be false, doesn't matter. Other people hear it and repeat it. Media covers it, social media spreads it. Each repetition makes the claim more available in everyone's memory. And because of the availability heuristic, your brain judges how true something is based on how easily you can remember examples of it. The more you hear something, the more true it feels, even if there's zero actual evidence supporting it. This creates a feedback loop. Someone shares a claim. It gets attention. More people share it because it's getting attention. Media covers it because people are sharing it. Now, even more people share it because media covered it. The claim becomes everywhere. And once something is everywhere, your brain treats it as established fact. You stop questioning it. You might even get annoyed at people who doubt it because everyone knows this is true. The scary part is this works on completely false information just as well as it works on true information. Truth and repetition are totally separate things. Something can be repeated a million times and still be wrong, but your brain doesn't care. Repetition creates the feeling of truth regardless of actual truth. Let me give you some real examples of availability cascades in action. Remember when everyone was convinced that eating MSG was dangerous? This belief spread everywhere. People avoided Chinese restaurants because of it. Products advertised no MSG like it was poison. But the science never actually supported this. The original study that claimed MSG was harmful was tiny and poorly done. Follow-up research mostly found MSG was safe for the vast majority of people. But the claim MSG is bad kept getting repeated. It became common knowledge through repetition, not through evidence. Or think about the belief that you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Everyone says this. You've probably heard it hundreds of times. It feels like established medical fact. But there's no scientific basis for that specific number. It likely came from a misinterpretation of nutritional guidelines that included water from all sources including food. But once the 8 glasses claim started spreading, it became truth through repetition. Now people feel guilty if they don't drink 8 glasses even though the whole thing was never based on solid science. Social media makes availability cascades insanely powerful. A rumor starts on Twitter or TikTok. It gets shared by a few people. Then more people share it. An influencer picks it up. Now millions see it. News sites write articles about the viral claim spreading online. Now even more people encounter it. Within days, something that started as one person's random claim has been seen by millions of people multiple times. And each exposure makes it feel more real. Political rumors work this way constantly. Someone makes an accusation about a politician. It gets repeated by people who don't like that politician. Media outlets cover the controversy. Opposition politicians reference it. Now you're hearing this claim from multiple sources multiple times. Your brain starts treating it as probably true even if no actual evidence ever emerged. The repetition did all the work. Product scares follow this pattern. Someone claims a product caused them harm. They post about it online. Other people who had any problem with that product now attribute it to the same cause and share their stories. Media picks up on the growing number of complaints. Now there's a full availability cascade. Everyone's convinced the product is dangerous even though there might be no actual link between the product and the problems people experienced. Coincidence and repetition created perceived causation. Health misinformation thrives on availability cascades. Someone shares a claim about a natural cure or a dangerous ingredient. It sounds plausible enough that some people share it. Those shares lead to more shares. Health blogs write about it. Eventually, you see the claim from your aunt on Facebook, a wellness influencer on Instagram, a blog post, and a friend who mentioned it. You've now encountered this claim 5 times from different sources. Your brain files it away as probably true, even though you never saw any actual scientific evidence. Conspiracy theories are basically availability cascades on steroids. A claim starts in one corner of the internet. People who find it interesting share it. It spreads to other platforms, videos are made about it, more people discuss it. Eventually, it reaches a critical mass where you keep encountering references to it. Even if you think it's nonsense, the sheer repetition makes part of your brain wonder if maybe there's something to it. That's the cascade working on you. The media environment amplifies this massively. News outlets see a story getting attention on social media, so they cover it. Their coverage makes it spread more on social media. Other outlets see the first outlet covered it, so they cover it too. Now it's everywhere. Corrections or fact checks come later and get way less attention than the original claim. The cascade has already happened. The false version is what's stuck in people's memories. Corporate misinformation uses this deliberately. A company gets accused of something bad, whether it's true or not. The accusation spreads. Even when the company proves the accusation was false, the damage is done. People remember hearing the accusation multiple times. They don't remember the correction that came later. The availability cascade made the false claim feel true, and truth has a hard time competing with established repetition. Here's what makes this really tricky. Sometimes availability cascades happen with true information, too. Something that's actually real gets repeated until everyone knows it. But the problem is, you can't tell the difference between an availability cascade based on truth and one based on falsehood just by how it feels. Both feel equally true because both involve the same amount of repetition. Your brain's response to, "I've heard this many times," is the same whether what you heard was real or fake. So, how do you protect yourself from availability cascades? How do you tell the difference between something that's true and something that just got repeated a lot? First, notice when something feels true just because you've heard it a lot. When you find yourself thinking, "Everyone knows this," or "I've heard this everywhere," that's a red flag. That's your brain telling you it's judging truth based on repetition. Stop and ask. Have I actually seen evidence for this, or do I just believe it because I keep hearing it? Second, trace claims back to their source. When you hear something repeated, don't just accept it. Ask where it came from. What's the original source? Is there actual evidence or just people repeating what someone else said? Often, when you trace a claim backward through the cascade, you find it leads to a single questionable source that everyone is just copying from each other. Third, distinguish between "lots of people are saying this" and "this has been proven." Popularity is not evidence. Something being widely repeated doesn't make it true. Look for actual data, actual studies, actual documented facts. If you can't find those, you might be in an availability cascade. Fourth, be extra skeptical of claims that spread really fast. Real information usually spreads slower than false information because false information is often more interesting and emotional. When something goes viral instantly, that's often a sign it's playing on emotions rather than being carefully verified. Fast spread doesn't mean false, but it should make you more careful about believing it. Fifth, check for corrections and updates. The initial claim in an availability cascade usually gets spread way more than corrections or context that comes later. Actively search for fact checks, follow-up reports, or corrections. See if the story changed after the initial spread. Often you'll find important details that didn't make it into the viral version. Sixth, watch for emotional manipulation. Availability cascades often involve claims that make you angry, scared, or outraged. Those emotions make you more likely to share without verifying. When you feel a strong emotional reaction to a claim, that's exactly when you need to slow down and verify before believing or sharing. Seventh, be aware of your own role in spreading cascades. Every time you share something without verifying it, you're contributing to potential availability cascades. Before you share a claim, ask yourself if you've actually confirmed it's true or if you're just passing along something that sounded believable. Your share adds to the repetition that makes others believe it. Availability cascades are one of the main ways false information becomes accepted as fact in modern society. A claim gets repeated enough times through enough channels that it feels true purely through familiarity. Your brain mistakes repetition for evidence. And once a cascade reaches critical mass, it's incredibly hard to stop because contradicting it means going against what everyone knows. This isn't a new phenomenon, but social media and modern news cycles have made it way more powerful. Information spreads faster and reaches more people than ever before. A claim can go from one person's post to millions of people's awareness in hours. The speed and scale of modern availability cascades means false information can become common knowledge before anyone has time to properly verify it. You can't avoid all availability cascades. Some of them are about true information, and being exposed to those is fine. But you need to develop the skill of recognizing when you're in one and questioning whether the repeated claim is actually supported by evidence. Don't let repetition replace verification. Don't let familiarity replace facts. The next time you find yourself confidently stating something that you know because everyone says so, pause and ask yourself if you've ever actually seen proof. Ask if you believe it because of evidence or because of repetition. Ask if you're caught in an availability cascade where a claim became true through sheer volume of repetition rather than through actual verification. Your brain will always be vulnerable to this bias. Repetition will always create feelings of truth. But knowing about availability cascades gives you the chance to catch yourself before you fully believe something just because you kept hearing it. Question the cascade, demand evidence, and be very careful about what you choose to repeat and contribute to. Watch the next video to learn about another way your perception is being manipulated without you knowing.